Hey everybody, thank you for showing up to today's quick video tutorial on creating groups in STAR. I'm really excited about this opportunity to show this to you. It's just the first step in many to get us to having some maybe more intentional tier 2 groups in the classroom. So first thing you need to do is go to the Renaissance website. You can do that through Clever, or you can do that through our district website, or in the written tutorial that I've sent out to you, you will see that there is a link for our district's Renaissance site. So once you do that, you'll find yourself right here, and you are going to click on I'm a teacher, administrator. Next thing you need to do is type in your username or password. You can see mine is already here, and then click login. All right, once you log in, you'll see that we're on the Renaissance dashboard. A lot of options, a lot of things to click on here. And we're actually going to start on just making our reading groups. So it doesn't matter what grades you teach, you can click on Star Reading or Star Early Literacy, and it's going to pull your reading scores no matter the test that the student took. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Star Reading, and next thing you're going to navigate to is Record Book. All right, once you get to Record Book, you're going to see a list of your students and their most recent scores that they have taken in reading. Again, it doesn't matter what grade you teach, it's going to be whatever test they took most recently. So if they took a reading test, even though they're younger, it'll be here. If they took an early lit test, even though they're older, it'll be here. Next thing you're going to want to do is click on Manage Groups right here in the top middle. And from there, you're going to get to the Manage Groups section here. So you have two things you can click on. You can click on Create New Groups or Create a Group down here at the bottom. It really doesn't matter. All right, and then you'll just want to double check a few things here. This is our fine tuning before we start creating groups. So, check your school, make sure it's your classroom, subject that you are wanting to create groups for. We do want our benchmark to be set as state, and we want our scale to be STAR unified. Now, just a refresher again, the unified scale score, what it does is it takes into account the fact that if a student took Star Reading or Star Early Lit, just as we talked about a few minutes ago, it will still manage groups for you with that unified scale score, which is pretty neat. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is click on Create Groups. Now, there are two ways that groups can be created here, and both are actually pretty neat. So the easiest way to do it is to scroll down, and you're going to see where it says Set Groups by Benchmark. So if you click on Set Groups by Benchmark, it refreshes the page, and check this out. It automatically makes groups based on where they scored on their most recent STAR test. So it puts the students that met expectations in group 1. You can see that here. The students that scored approaching in group 2 partially met in 3 and then did not meet in 4. It's pretty awesome that it automatically does that. Now, maybe you feel like these names are too wordy or something like that, and you want to change the names. You can actually just double click right here, which is really neat, and name these whatever groups you want them to be. Maybe they're the names that you're going to use with your students in the classroom. So feel free to change those. I'm going to leave them there for right now. Now, the other thing that you can do here is you might notice that you've got some students that maybe they were really low in the yellow benchmark, right? Or they might be really high as a red, and you feel like those two students could be in the same group potentially. So to give an example, we'll look at these two students here. One scored an 878 scale score and one scored an 896, particularly close to one another, but they're currently in two different benchmark groups. Knowing students the way that you know them with your observations and different test scores and things that they do in class, you might decide that they need to be in the same group, or maybe they need to be flip-flopped completely. What's great here is that after you've clicked Set Groups by Benchmark, you have the flexibility to adjust these. And so you can go ahead and change it to where this student is no longer listed in group 3, but maybe they're in 4. Or maybe they both need to be in group 3 because the student that's testing in red actually kind of underachieved in STAR. So what's great about this is for those that feel like STAR maybe backs them into a corner as to what they feel like they have to do, it lets you take in your observations, your expertise on these students, and adjust their groups accordingly. Pretty neat. So the other thing that you can do here, if you don't want it to automatically be created, although I think it's a great option at least to get started, and then you can adjust, is you can actually just start from scratch with your own groups if you wanted to. So I'm actually going to go back, create a new group. Again, all of our fine tuning done there. And then you can make each group. So if you decide, you know what, I want all of my students that are in green to be in group 1, just like we were doing before, right? And I want to call that something different. I want to call that purple teeth. You add another group. Notice how it adds a new column here, adds the color right here if you want to change it up or anything like that. And then you can, again, change the name and then put these students in group 2. So maybe it's all of your students that are in blue, or anyone that scored in the 900s, which would actually be a really wide range. But I mean, you can actually make the groups one at a time as you're going, which is really, really neat that you can just take it one step at a time. For me personally, I think right here, setting groups by benchmark and adjusting is the easiest way, but I wanted to show you both options just in case you were curious. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's a great first step for us in regards to creating groups for Tier 2. We have more to come as far as using the instructional planning report here in Renaissance. We're going to be talking about Freckle and the CBMs. Maybe you've seen that on Renaissance, the curriculum-based measures that will be upcoming that we'll be using. And also, I'm looking forward to us talking about finding time to provide Tier 2 for our Tier 3s in schedules. So thank you guys for tuning in. I hope this video has been helpful, and we got more to come in the coming weeks.